Hello to all of you, and welcome back to another episode of the People on Purpose podcast, where we explore leadership, culture, and impact through the lens of purpose-driven leaders and purpose-driven businesses. I'm Tarja Takko, CEO and founder of Takko Advisory, and today we are diving into an exciting discussion on values-driven leadership with a special focus on France and the Netherlands, two nations with distinct business cultures, yet a shared commitment to leadership that prioritizes people, impact, and purpose. Joining us in this episode is Herve Colleaux, and sorry for not pronouncing your name maybe correctly. Herve is a purpose-led leader at Borderless, which is a company that has embedded diversity and equity at its core. Their commitment to values is very strong, not just in words, but also in action. And this is very well proven by their Ecovadis rating, making them, I think, the first executive search firm to achieve such a recognition. I will also continue saying that Borderless is, as the name suggests, working across and beyond borders. Leadership today is really about finding and empowering the best leaders, those who align with purpose and values, no matter where they are from. And as many organizations operate on a global scale, the ability to identify and cultivate leaders who drive positive change, foster inclusive culture, and also shape a sustainable future is really more critical now than it has been before. First of all, Herve, congratulations on this Ecovadis rating.
Thank you very much, Tarja, and good morning.
Good morning. Hey, let's take a personal question in the beginning. What does the values and purpose-driven leadership mean to you? And also, I'll continue with the question: how have you seen it evolving in your long career?
Yeah, you probably made it clear, Tarja, just at the beginning. As you can imagine, I'm a bit French, but I live in Amsterdam. For the last 7 years. To make it even more difficult or complex, I've been living in the UK, I've been living in Brussels, in Belgium. So you can imagine that, the borderless approach is very important. What can I define, the value-driven approach? I mean, authenticity is key for me. Whatever you do, either, in your real life, daily life, but also in the business, authenticity is absolutely key for me. And that's probably the first thing I would define.
You mentioned already the countries that you have been living in, and I think it would be good to understand a bit more the cultural context. As you said, you are originally from France, and you currently live in Netherlands. And these two cultures, if we really think about them, they are quite different. I think French business culture still values hierarchy, whereas the Dutch leadership style is maybe known more for being pragmatic, consensus-driven, and inclusive. And Dutch businesses are at the forefront of ESG, with a very strong commitment to sustainability and ethical governance. How do you feel that these cultures have really shaped your values and the purpose-driven approach to leadership?
Yeah, I think point number one, indeed, being a world citizen in our world is, I think, a great thing, a great asset. Indeed, I've been living for 20 years in France, but after that, discover, a new culture in London, a new one in Belgium. And now for the last 7 years, indeed, we can say that Dutch culture is very different from the French one. But at the end of the day, it's all about people. It's all about, long-term relationship is really to care about people and to try to understand, how they react, their behavior, their values, and, just to be yourself and really care about what you are doing. So in an international environment, what I learned in the business for 30 years and now at Borderless is really long-term relationship with people. That's the key for me.
Yeah, and I really like how you use the word care, as that is one of the key values of Takko Advisory.
Yeah.
And yes, you have been living in different cultures, and you said really nicely that it's all about people and the relationships. But it's quite novel that you have with the company the approach with Borderless, so that you really look. It doesn't really matter where the people or the leaders are from, but it's really finding the right talents. How did you adopt this Borderless?
If I, well, thank you for letting me, having this opportunity, Tarja. If I take 2 minutes to really explain, we indeed have a very simple approach in a way, which is long-term relationship with people. You can be, Tarja, a client. You can be a candidate. At the end of the day, you are just a nice person to discuss with. And we start to build the relationship, and then we continue whatever the context is. We can also discuss sport if we want. We can discuss theater. We can discuss anyway. At one day, one stage, something will happen. We are convinced about that. But we really need to understand, the people, the values, the style, so that at one stage our client will need those capabilities, technical, of course, but also the behavior, the style, the leadership. So that's our approach, which is we strongly believe that wherever our client wants us to find someone, there will be someone somewhere in the world. There will be someone with the right technical skills, but also and mainly the right attitude, values, and development.
Yeah. And now that you mentioned those, so of course it's depending on the position that you're finding the candidate to, the technical skills, as you said. But how would you define the key traits that these purpose-driven leaders should have? What I think they should be authentic. They should be
Yes,
having this long-term
yes,
thinking, not only the results
yes,
of today. But how would
yes.
you really define what are the leaders that the companies are looking for?
Yeah, I think of course, some clients, different clients have different, ways of working, values, and expectation. But I strongly believe that the focus on people and long-term development is key, as well as, of course, we can trust it or be convinced of it, but we strongly believe that diversity is and inclusion, but diversity is key, will bring the richness to any organization. That's a strong belief. That's part of our DNA. That's part of our ways of working as well. And to be honest, that's us. I'm a French in Amsterdam in the Borderless executive search. All of us, all our partners and consultants, are living abroad somewhere or have had an experience somewhere in another country than their mother country. So that's also a key attribute, really focusing on diversity will bring richness. Strong belief.
Yeah, and as you know, that it's also something that I very strongly believe in, and as a leader, I have been really strongly also driving diversity, equity, and inclusion agenda. So let's talk a little bit about the female leadership and the day agenda. And as we have been following the discussion around diversity, equity, and inclusion, and really the examples that some big companies and corporations are stopping the activities around this. What do you think about this?
Sensitive topic, emotional topic. Everyone can have strong values. We do at Borderless have strong values on that. We believe that diversity again will bring high performance and richness. That's and we can't stop it. I mean, we can do whatever we want. We can say whatever we want. It's part of the future. And I'm very happy to promote and support this idea. I mean, we've all seen, some quotas in some companies, some really push in others. We don't believe in quotas. We believe that beyond policies, people and their attitude, their behavior, authenticity will bring the right diversity. We are keen to promote that idea that leaders are taking care about people and of course long-term relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also my view that it's really about basic human rights. So it's not a company shouldn't be adding day as another exercise, but really ensuring that it's part of the company DNA. And as you were also mentioning, quite a few benefits that it brings as taking that into account.
We live it in our daily life at Borderless, which is a family a boutique in executive search with a specific positioning. But I'm part of a diversity, Tarja. We in our agency we have 10 fantastic women and 5 guys like me. Yeah, and we are very happy. And it's not a choice. It's because we believe, that brings, the right result, the right values. So we are not putting some values on the wall that we don't respect. That's us. Diversity is absolutely us. Now, beyond, just promoting some words in a discussion like we have, Tarja, the most important thing is to make it in action, to live it. And to not only to believe on that, but to really make it happen. When an executive search firm builds a shortlist for a company, it's important to make it clear that diversity is part also of the final result.
And now, Herve, a difficult question. What if the customer is not completely seeing that themselves? If they are, because my experience is that if you're not, as a customer, if you're not really securing and ensuring and pushing, a hard word, but pushing the executive search firm in finding that diversity, also reflecting the female leaders, it's probably not happening. I have many examples where it was not happening. So how do you see this?
It's a long-term change. It has to be a meaningful change. Again, I strongly believe that quotas, policies, will not bring the meaningful change. But really, it's a mix between the leadership, the high performance that we want, the technical skills, but also the values. So indeed, you're right. I don't see any companies that is not on principle opening diversity in the brief.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, we are all open to that. But of course, when the shortlist starts to be a bit more narrow, so you're right. Out of 10, probably we have, and that's for us, our responsibility is to explain and to explain the people, not to put, number 1, number 2 by principle, but to explain the people, the values, the style, the background, the attitude, and what he or she can bring to the company, as long as we have high performing and high performance. So we have a responsibility in bringing and explaining the shortlist. But you're right. At the end of the day, the client make the final choice, and that's also, Tarja, a responsibility for us to promote it or to avoid to work with a client if we don't share the same values. We need to be bold enough on that.
And have you been bold? Do you have examples where you have been bold that this is not the right match?
This is not the right match if the relationship starts badly. And the answer is yes, even in my short experience. Yeah. And you can have, you can ask yourself in front of your mirror. We can all ask yourself in front of mirror, given what we see in the world today, would I work for that company? That's a choice. We all have a choice, and we all have to live and pay the bills. But at the same time, we can't compromise our values.
Yeah. And that really shows that you have the values deep in the company DNA. When thinking of the diversity and the female leaders, of course, diversity is so much more than the female male discussion. But how do you see the progress, and what is do you see that the pace is increasing?
I mean, we can always see the half full or half empty. I'm always positive, so the answer is yes. I mean, you can also look at the statistics now. Okay, we can you can manage the numbers as we wish, but I think yes, there is an evolution. Probably, Tarja, more in some part of the world than others. Probably even in Europe, more in some part of Europe than others. So we can see, pockets of, great improvement. Let's put it like this. But we still have a long way to go. I think that, or I can see the statistics that things are improving, but we are far away from, being in a fair position.
Yeah, yeah. And this takes us to the next question on the role that the executive search. Of course, there's recruitment on all the levels, but if now thinking about the leaders, and it's the leaders that lead by example, it's the leaders that really bring the company also in terms of diversity to the right level. So what is the role? Actually, executive search has a really important role in this. So how do you see that the executive firms could be maybe taking stronger steps or actions?
Absolutely, we are an enabler or catalyst even. I strongly believe on that. After 30 years in the business, in FMCG and then in packaging, I decided to join the board, an executive search and Borderless with some values and ways of working, because we can make a difference. Because we can make a difference for people and organization. That's a strong belief as well, which is we can change some people's life, being part of a new adventure, but at the same time we can change the organization values. We can have an influence on some organization, bringing the right talent, the right diversity, the right performance, and the right people for the future. So yes, we have a strong role to play at our level. We need to be humble. The key people are the employees. But I think we have a role to play in bringing the right talent, culture, values for the future of each organization.
Yeah. Herve, I'm sure you have very good examples. You talk about long-term relationships and working with people and companies. So, and the way you're working with your values, I'm sure you are following many individuals and companies where they're making really positive changes in the world. So I don't know if you can share some example.
Well, yes, of course. Well, bad and good, to be honest with you. It not always work. It's not a blue sky. It's a sky with clouds as well. Let's be clear. But we are really happy in sometimes where a company in the FMCG sector push me to have, not push me, but define the brief. We want a technical guy, manufacturing plant manager, this kind of profile in that context. It's all about context. And by the way, Hervé, we know it's impossible because of all the criteria. But by the way, if it is a female, that's even better. Yeah. And not, to be honest with you, not only to tick the box in their KPIs, which is the worst thing to do, but really because in that context, a female approach with the right compromise, the right ways of working, they thought it was the right thing to do. And of course, when you find that fantastic talent, you are very proud of you. Sometimes it doesn't work, of course. But it's not only the gender. When you also look for a Belgian company and Dutch company, and they need absolutely the right technical skills, and you find the right candidate not in the Netherlands but in the US. Because again, diversity is also the mix of culture, the mix of nationality. When you have a borderless approach, finding the right people in Africa, South America, you find the right people always with the right attribute. But of course, the company has to be open to that.
Yeah. And I think some companies still have a little bit of way to go in that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Some because they don't see the value. because we believe that in France we only need French. In Spain we only want Spanish speak. Well, you have Italian, Spanish, French, all over the world, and they have learned something.
Yeah.
Through their background, their journey.
Yeah.
And we believe that it can bring fresh eyes, etc. Yes, so companies have to be open to that. Of course, sometimes, not always, but there are some costs associated. But it's also an opportunity for a great investment for the future.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can fully echo this. When I was hiring people to my team or people to the organization I used to work for, it was really excellent to see what the diversity of different profiles and people from different countries, for example, was bringing to the company. It was such a positive boost in many different ways.
I would add, Tarja, if you let me add this comment, that we also need to build the relationship somewhere with a family. Because in our job, we are not only talking to a candidate or client, we are talking to their environment. So moving from a company to another company is already a journey. Moving to another country is a huge journey, and it has some implication. But we strongly believe that we need to support that journey. And women, have the ambition to have both a fantastic professional life as well as a balanced private life with whatever they want. If they want family, kids, etc., that's great. That's great. So that's part of our assessment in a way.
Excellent. Hey, you also, I really like the way you talk about as a company this power of kindness in purpose-led leadership, and really the positive impact the kindness has in the high-performing teams. And indeed, there is research that shows that kind leadership fosters psychological safety, which is something that has been actively talked about. So how do you see how companies recognize that kindness and inclusivity foster the high performance?
I will also probably look at my past as a line manager, been senior director for a number of years in different contexts and companies. I mean, kindness, it's not, blue sky and, what I mean. You've been in that situation as well, in your professional life. We can't always, have a nice discussion. So sometimes we also have to have difficult discussion, but honesty and honest discussion is key. We need to have this, I don't know, courage or care or whatever is the word, but to have honest discussion with the people we are leading and with the team we are leading, so that we can find together the right solution. So kindness for me is not to be lenient or to find the compromise or to compromise the high performance. No, we need to be demanding on the performance. That's the world today. Okay, but at the same time, we need to make sure with the right level of honesty, we find together the right solution. And if not, then whatever is the decision, it has to be, in the right human way.
Yeah. And as you said, kindness doesn't mean that you're avoiding the tough conversations or discussions, but it's really bringing this empathy and the fairness and the high integrity into the focus. And that's, I think, really something that is needed from the leaders.
Fully. Is
today.
That what we see always? No. Is that simple? No. It's probably one of the worst or most difficult parts to do as a leader, to really have this ability not to be mean, but to have honest discussion, whatever is the topic.
Yeah. How can companies put more focus when they're finding the right talents? Maybe they're not using the word that kindness as a word, but how can they put more focus in this? And should they?
I mean, it probably, well, my experience, Tarja, I can only tell you my experience and my belief, but it starts from the it starts from the belief that engagement and leadership can bring high performance, and teamwork will bring higher performance. So it starts from a belief that we need to engage with our people. We need to bring the right level of discussion, honesty, and that will bring more performance. And it's not by pushing, by only technical skills, by only putting the pressure that will bring the right level of engagement and the right level of performance. Probably the opposite.
Yeah.
Doesn't change the ambition, but the
Yeah.
how is key.
Exactly. I was actually going to add that for me, what I'm always talking about, it's not the what, it's the how. No matter how difficult the topic is, it's really how you are managing or leading
and
that.
leaders are probably something which is innate, probably something that you've built over your life, and not only your career but over your life, and probably some needs to be developed as well. I mean, we need to accept the thing, or the point that every day is an opportunity to learn, even as a leader.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, let me go back a little bit on this. I mentioned in the beginning that you have, as the first executive firm, this Ecovadis, which is excellent. Congratulations again. What can other companies or businesses learn about embedding sustainability into their leadership model?
Yeah, well, what do we do as a business? I tell you what is my business that will make the bridge. I mean, my business is very simple, Tarja. I like what I'm doing. I'm doing what I like and what I'm good at. I love. Yeah, that's the first thing. And on top of that, I'm doing what I love with the people I'm very happy to work with. And it can be my colleagues, but also my candidate, my client, the people I'm discussing with. So I do what I love. I work with the people I like. I'm probably therefore doing something not too bad, respecting what I'm saying. So I'm probably not too bad at what I'm doing, and therefore, as a consequence, some of my clients are paying me.
Hopefully, all your clients are paying you.
Exactly. So what I mean by that, I'm saying as a consequence, and not as a target, which is the critical thing, which is the critical difference compared to other environment. Yeah. So of course that's a Japanese philosophy. I'm sure everyone will recognize that. But to do what we like, to do it with the people we like, and to be good at it, to respect what we are saying, will bring the right confidence to be paid. So to answer your question, and the link with Ecovadis, you can have all the methodology, and the executive search company have often the same kind of methodology. Yeah, but you need to do what you are saying. And again, the how is not written in a book. That's what we call, the borderless way.
I think that was really, really nicely summarized. Really nicely.
Yeah. But it's key. It's key to respect what we say, because if you are, serious about quality management system, and therefore, have some processes, and we like or dislike the processes, but you need to say to your client or candidate what will be the next step, what will be the methodology, and then you need to respect that, and then you need to spend enough time with each of them, avoiding the transactional part of the job, which is not what we like.
Yeah. Hey, I need to ask. Well, we all are witnessing what's happening in the world today, and it's really every hour or every day is bringing us something surprising.
Yeah.
Has this made any impact on how you operate as a leader or how you operate as a company?
It first has an impact as an individual. I have a a wife, 3 little daughters that I love, and that's the future. So we have discussion at home. So it has an impact with my family. As a leader or as a partner at Borderless, yes, we have a responsibility again, as I told you. We are not living in the outside world, we are living in the world. And therefore it has an impact. It has an impact because we have strong values at Borderless, and we are not keen to support the new kind of speeches, etc., that we say. So we defend our values. We also have, in our diversity, different nationalities in our company agency, which are more sensitive than others. So because directly impacted. So that's also part of the opportunity to discuss, debate, but at the end of the day, we all share the same values. And as a company, because we have to check if what we put on our website, if what we promote in front of a client or a candidate, if we are still living our values, or if we want to review, some of the wording, because that's key. That's our way to position ourselves in our ways of working. So yes, we have discussion. Yes, we have reviewed, what we think. And the good thing, for the last 25 years, when the founder has created Borderless, actually the DNA is still there. Actually, the strong values are still there. Yes, Tarja, probably even more today.
Yeah. I have to ask, what is your personal purpose, Herve?
Well, have fun every day, you know me, supporting the people I'm working with, client, candidate, that's the same for me. But the real thing is I've built my life in such a way that I can give something to my daughters. That's what I'm building. That's what I've been building for 30 years plus. That's what I will continue to build. I want them to have a good start. I want them to be happy. Whatever is happiness, by the way.
We could have another episode on that, definitely. Hey, I think we need to start closing this discussion with you. Is there some key takeaways? I'm sure there is plenty takeaways you want to share with the listeners.
Yeah, it's complicated, to enter into that kind of discussion and to indeed try to distill, the key point. I think I will, as a conclusion, thank you, Tarja, for the time and the opportunity you give me this morning. A huge thank you, Tarja. I will repeat how important is the leadership and this responsibility to not only drive performance and numbers, but more importantly, people, because it's a life, and indeed reinforce the improvement on diversity, sustainability, far away from the goal somewhere, but is there a goal? That's a journey. But continuing to promote that diversity and long-term relationship with people will bring richness in any organization and will therefore bring high performance. Strong belief, whatever is the world around us, it's a strong belief.
So it's all about people. Putting it very short.
Exactly that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Herve, for joining. And thank you, everybody, for listening in. And I want to leave you with the question, what does purpose-driven leadership mean actually to you? And it would be excellent to hear your thoughts. So please share your experiences and insights in the comments or connect with us on social media. So until next time, stay purposeful, inspired, and keep leading with values and keep leading people. Thank you, Herve, again.
Thank you,
everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.